Such great information. Stress is something that we just don't talk about, Dr. Akoury, and that's so important. So now, how does stress affect the female reproductive system? Because what we're finding out now is we talked about ways to decrease stress. Now we want to see stress and you've educated us so well of how it affects on the body.
Well, again, stress affects every single cells in the body. Stress affects every single molecule. Stress affects every single conversation because there is conversation between cells in the body. Now, under stress and under survivorship mechanisms, if you want to fight or flight, that's what survivorship is your reaction is a fight or flight. So what would you do if you're under stress or under attack by a lion? Even if it's a word, and if you're responding to it as if it's a lion attack, what happens? During a lion attack, you have nothing, you cannot do anything but run away. When you run away, you have to get your blood shifting from particular organs and go to certain vital organs. So the blood is shifting away from your sexual organs, which are very important, but it goes to the heart, so you can run fast, and it shifts to the blood, to the brain, so you can make the correct decision. So you have relative, what we call ischemia, to vital organs. So your ovaries become under ischemia or low blood flow. Your uterus goes under low blood flow. You know what happens when your uterus, your ovary stops, even for a minute? You stop ovulating. You create a minuscule infarct or death to pieces of your ovary. So you develop menstrual issues. What happens, like menstrual issues would be like what? Bleeding a lot, excessive bleeding, painful bleeding, painful menstrual premature menopause at 35. Stress can do that. What else can it do? Stop you from getting pregnant. So if you don't want to get pregnant, learn about how to deal with stress. Not only how to deal with stress, but how to improve your nutrition for stress. Not only to do that, but how to restore restore and optimize your hormonal balance.
Absolutely.
All that is so essential. So if you stress, you can't have sex. If you stress, you lose all the cholesterol that is supposed to make estrogen and progesterone into creating cortisol and epinephrine. So truly, if you want to feel good and look good, you need to understand how to be ready for stress, how to de-stress, how to understand the allopathic, how to understand what we call the balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And then you get into what we call allostatic load that is manageable. Your body can manage it.
Totally.
Your body is capable to do it. And then you can have libido. Then you can have sex again. And then you can have babies again. And then you look beautiful again because you're able to make estrogen. And you're able to make testosterone and progesterone and look great.
So signs and health effects that happen, what are those signs of stress from the signs?
If your heart is beating too fast, if you're nervous and shaky, if you become so constipated, you belly ache and you can't poop, you can't poop, you're just constipated. And then your blood sugar goes up high, crazy. You can have seizures. You can have infections very quickly. Herpes gets reactivated. I mean, zoster or chickenpox gets reactivated and give you shingles. Develop cancer. Your insulin level goes up. You become overweight. Accumulates lots of fat. So it's a lot that can happen. You have insomnia. You can't sleep restfully and happily. So stress, you have warning signs. If you have insomnia, wake up. It's time to really find out why. If you have low libido, could it be the stress? If you're not able to get pregnant, you have period issues. Are you heart is beating too fast? Do you have anxiety? Panic attacks? All these are signs and symptoms that you're reacting to the environmental changes in a very defensive survival mode. And I want you to survive? No, I want you to thrive with AwareMed and with Dalal Akoury.
All right. How does stress affect the muscular skeletal system?
Well, you remember when I told you that stress is your body response to a foreseen emergency, a foreseen danger. So what do you need is you use your muscles. So if you use your muscles excessively, you create the creatine that is muscles is made of, start dumping itself into your kidneys, and you can develop blood in the urine. So, and you waste, the muscles are made of something called mitochondria. So under that much stress, you deplete your mitochondria, so your energy level goes down and you start having muscle atrophy. Or you operate under what we call low oxygen phase, which is really anaerobic environment. And that can cause acidosis, acidity in your body, and it gives you muscle pain. So you have muscle pain and muscle aches and chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and all that. So your muscles really, the blood supplies to the muscle get also compromised because your needs for blood is increasing and you're not able to maintain the demands. So those are the things that can happen.
How does stress affect lung and breathing system?
When you're under stress, it can precipitate an asthma attack. Why? Because you're operating, again, under low oxygen to the heart, to the lungs. So the lungs are really working much harder. So you can precipitate what a reactive airway disease attack. You can exacerbate the asthma. You breathe a lot faster and you're not able to get enough oxygen through because while you're running, you're not inhaling. You're only exhaling most of the time. So that's why we develop acidity and you can develop some issues with your lungs as well. So you need to be very careful with that.
How does stress affect the male sexual system?
Well, it's very similar to what happened to women. Again, under anxiety and stress and the stress response, your epinephrine goes up very high, your cortisol goes up very high. You have to focus on running away. So you shift your blood away from your testicles, from your organs, and that can create a lot of problems. Not only does it do that, and it decreases your libido, and it can cause ischemia to the testicles, so you're not able to make sperms. That would be one of the problems that you can have. So you cannot make women conceive. It puts you at a higher risk for developing infections, even sexually transmitted diseases. It also can affect testosterone production. So when you're using cholesterol, it's used as the main source that is used to create cortisol. And it can either do cortisol or sex hormones. So if you're taking under the cortisol it steals all the cholesterol into making cortisol, and it stays away from making sex hormones, including testosterone. So it affects your libido. It affects your stamina. It affects your erectile dysfunction because you start developing blood vessel disease.
How does stress affect gastrointestinal system?
It's very similar to the same concept. You develop what we call relative ischemia because the blood is flowing to different places. So when you develop relative ischemia to the mucosa of the gastrointestinal tract, mostly the mucosa is where most of the enzymes are made. So you stop making enzymes. So guess, would you be able to digest? You'll have massive digestive issues. Would you be able to just have gastric motility because your muscles supply cannot, even the intestine and the gut is made of muscles. And if your blood flowing to those muscles is compromised, eventually you can have atrophy in these areas. And guess you what is going to happen? You're not going to be able to poop. Then the sphincter of the rectum becomes very tight, very, very tight. So you make it so tight that you're not able to poop. If you're not able to poop, you get constipated. If you get constipated, you develop toxic colon and a lot of gases that are very toxic gases that are going all over the body. So we need to work on restoring your system so you handle stress differently. It's not just meditation. It's not just sleep. It just arm you with a healthy body and a healthy mind. Restore your neurotransmitters with all the nutrition and make it swim into an ocean of amino acids and essential fats, and you become beautiful again and feel amazing and look good at any age.
Best place we can find information on you? Where can we go?
You can call my office, and I'm going to ask you to please put that number there, but you can call my cell number too. It's 843-957-1196. You can DM me on Instagram, and please make sure they have my handle. They can also follow me on TikTok, on my webinars with you, on my podcast. But in my podcast is I Am Health and Wealth. So don't really wait too long. You deserve better. You need to look great, feel great, and enjoy the beauty of the divine that is good for you. You deserve it.
All right. That was a great I Am Health is Wealth. Take care, guys.